Hi, I just realized that when I was giving you my points on writing and the writing process and all of that, I told you that you were going to be writing about the personal experience, but I didn't give you many details about that. And I wanted to create this video to give you some details about that. I will also give you a document you can look at as well, because as I've said before, it's always better to see things and hear them and write them as well. It'd be a great idea to write notes. But I'm not going to grade those notes, so it's just how you learn, you know? So you're going to be writing a personal experience. The first thing you need to do is select your topic. What personal experience are you going to be talking about? If I were writing a personal experience essay, one of the things I might write about is the time I went on a date in Siberia. Another one might be my experience riding the Trans-Siberian Railway. Another experience, bringing it closer to home, might be when my husband and I saw this property where we live for the first time. There are many other personal experiences I could choose, but those are the three that come to mind first. And that, I don't know, maybe they might be more interesting for people than some other ones. So once you've selected your topic, you need to think about how to tell this story for maximum impact. You want to write something that will affect people emotionally in some way. It could be to make them excited, to make them laugh, to make them feel your sadness and pain, to make them curious. There's a lot of things that you might want people to feel. But let's select some feeling and use words that go along with the impact that you want to make on people. And choose the details that suit your purpose. So if I'm writing about my trip on the Trans-Siberian Railway, I might not decide to pick what I packed to take with me, because that's not an important detail that goes along with the impact I want to make on my reader. So I might leave that part out. How to structure your personal experience essay. This is not just a story, this is an essay, and I want you to open with something that lets your reader know the essence of what you're describing and your point of view about it. So if I were writing about my date that I had when I lived in Siberia, I might open with something about my perspective as a foreigner, as a person from the United States in Russia, and how different it was, and the expectations that were over me as a missionary. Yeah, I wasn't supposed to date. Let's just say that. And that tells you something about my perspective, and it tells you something about the essence of what I'm conveying. So we were having a little adventure, kind of without permission, you know. We didn't do anything bad, but you know, that's what it was. You should tell your story naturally. In his book that's called On Writing, Stephen King wrote that the best way to tell a story is to imagine your opening scene, your opening setting with your main character or characters in it, and then just let the movie of the story play in your head, and you write down what you see and hear in this movie. Now, you may end up with too many details, but that's okay. It's always best to have more than you need, and you can cut stuff out if you need to cut stuff out. Let's see. I'm not going to give you a number of sentences, but I am going to tell you that if you were to record yourself telling this story, it should take about 4 to 5 minutes, more or less. Much less than that, and you probably don't have enough details, and much more than that, and you probably will lose the reader's interest. So that's a tip for you. And then you should have an ending. You should have a last paragraph or so that lets your reader know what the point is. And so if I were telling the story about how we saw this property for the first time, I would make sure to include near the end that we knew that this was the place for us, and that my husband and our friend Miguel and I gathered outside the gate and prayed before we left asking God to let us live here. And then another tip that I have is that you should imagine. Did I say imagine your audience? I did say imagine your audience, didn't I? Another tip that I have is to use action and dialogue. And I don't mean action like we got on the train and we rode all night and then we got to the lake. That's not action. Action words. I reached up as far as I could and put my foot on the landing of the train, and I pulled my weight up on the train and almost lost my balance. And then I walked down the carriage looking for my chamber. Something like that. And that way I'm helping my reader be able to picture and hear what's happening and feel maybe a little bit of what I'm feeling. So those are the things that you want to do with this writing. I will give you the details of the assignment in a document for you, or in the assignment. I haven't decided yet, honestly. Just remember to write with SOAP, subject, occasion, audience, purpose. Remember to include a lot of details, sensory details, action, dialogue if you can. And do what you can to convey this experience in a way that would be interesting for me to read. And maybe I'll go, this is so interesting, I want Miss Annie to read it, or I want Miss Kirsten to read it. That'd be awesome. So you guys have a nice day.